All righty, everybody. Thank you for showing up to this. What is it today? It's a Thursday, 24th of August, Field Notes and Legal Shield. Um, so today, I didn't have much too programmed other than maybe discuss with you guys. If you guys had any standing issues, I can tell you guys by the end of this month. So it's going to be first week of September. So the 1st of September is a Friday, so it'll be the following week on the 4th. But we will be no more old version and just new version. So how has everybody been with the new version? And I have somebody that I can go with right now because she giggles.
You know,
Allison,
I,
how have
It's
you
the
been?
nervous laugh.
Have you had a chance to poke around? I mean, if you can do it, anybody,
Anybody can.
right? So how have you
And
been?
I'm good with that. I have poked around a little bit. We did the big push for the Make a Will month. So I tried to use the new AI to get to the templates and everything that we had created and get all of that sent out with my contacts. It,
You were able
it
to do
it
that?
went okay. And then I looked at how many emails went out. So how many got opened, that all those statistics on that first page. It's gonna take me a while, but when it goes away, it goes away. So
Yeah,
it's
I know.
either sink or swim.
And what has been your experience? Have you found any hiccups with any of the new UI opposed to the old UI?
I don't think so. There's probably things come up that maybe I would not have seen in the old AI that are now front and center.
Some things have changed and gone away. So there used to be, I don't know if you guys remember, like this little breadcrumb little thing that used to allow you to get back to where you were, wherever you kind of ended up with. That no longer exists. So all the menus are on the left-hand side, right? This is something because I'm a admin user, I can look at all the users, but so you guys don't see this button. This is the dashboard, which depending on if you have both dashboards, you'll see them here, right? So real estate sees both. You guys should see one or the other. And then you've got your contacts, and that takes you to, so manage contacts is now all contacts, right? So before they called it managed contacts and there was an option for it in the drop down. Now it's just all contacts. Then you have all of your little special views, which no longer are reports. They're called views. They didn't want to get confused with these reports. So views are now views. With the calendar, everything is relatively, I would say, the same in the sense of its functions. Action plans, I would say the same as well. And then these are all your, so all of these options are what used to be up here. These little quick options are for notifications, timeline. This still works the same as before with the data. I don't think I have too much here, so I don't think it's going to show much. And then the view messages. Has anybody played around with the view messages or have an idea how they would use the view messages?
I've only used it to see your stuff. So I mean, we can use it for our own
Say
personal
that
stuff.
view messages or what?
Well, you were talking about oh, maybe I was thinking notifications. Sorry about that.
Yes, notifications. This is where it's just a quick access button so that you can set what notifications you want, what you don't want to get, that kind of thing. So,
What do you mean get and not get? Like get
so
bills
these,
back or get
so first you can install the app on your phone. So if you have notifications set to get mobile notifications, you'll get notified on your mobile when, well, depending on the settings, right? So whatever you set it to, none, important, information, or all. Here it tells you what notification is what. So none is obviously no notifications. The important is AI-liked events, and when lead shows interest in getting a handoff. So those important isn't something that you guys deal with. Information is events, informational activities, like when a lead responds a message. So that could be something in which you guys would want to get notified. And then all does everything. And you can pick if it's a bell notification. So this thing kind of rings, an email notification, or a mobile notification. But if you're sending out stuff and you're trying to follow along and you're making calls, depending on what's kind of going on, you definitely want to have your notifications up so that you can get notified of customers, you know, replying back to you and that kind of stuff. So, but these are just quick access. Then this is just access to a blank contact, but I find myself using this a lot because I can adjust the fields, I can make changes that I need to make, and I don't necessarily have to be in the contact page to use this button, right? So I can be in action plans, and if I'm doing something in which, let's say I don't have a trigger or a sphere to trigger off of something, so I need to create that and associate it, well, at least I could do that right now. Now that I'm thinking about action plans, I can go find the category, the sphere, manage items. So in some cases, this sometimes pops up behind. So since I've got so much stuff open, I think I might have another page open with some stuff. That's what it is.
Jeremy, that's my problem too. Sometimes I have so many tabs open.
Well, they've got me looking at the support articles and redoing a lot of videos now that the layout is going to be the layout. So everything has to change. And so I've got like some little staged events over here so that I can just kind of do stuff. But I end up leaving pages with access and stuff that, yeah, you just get so many windows. Okay, so I got all of that closed. And so
Will
for me,
all of our templates that have already been created fit into this new system
it
without?
already does.
Okay.
Yeah, so both systems are like a copied image. Like if you do something in one, it'll do it in the other, but I can already see the dashboard, the dashboard for the first UI is not up. Like you can't go to it. And so they're like a week from pulling it. So I'm not going to make them go fix the dashboard. Because so far everything has, a lot of the little bugs and nuances have been corrected. I really want to thank everybody in their efforts for, you may have thought you were bothering the hell out of me. The ones who really thought I was bothering the hell out of them was the developers, but every little, tidbit that you guys had to share went straight to them. And so this new release, there's a lot of things coming out, such as the when you
So when
open
you clicked on the dashboard and you got this notification that it wasn't working, has been taken care of.
well, this, I'm just assuming this is because I have so much stuff open, and then I've got this page open on this side.
I mean, that would pop up and then I would just scroll down the left-hand side and hit contacts that way. and it would take me to,
One. Okay, so tell me again.
so when I first started to use, try to force myself to use this, and I'd hit the dashboard up top in the blue ribbon, it would not load. And so then I went down
You
on the
mean this?
left. Yeah. Then I
Okay,
went
so
down on the left-hand side and clicked on.
So this isn't a link, right? But this is, and this does take you back to the dashboard. So before, the
Okay.
field notes would take you to our website,
Mm-hmm.
and then from our website, you could go to the support and learning articles. Now they have changed it, so if you press Fieldnotes AI, it takes you to the dashboard. So whatever dashboard view you have, it takes you to it, and then you can look at your dashboard. But one thing I was going to mention about some changes that are coming is this: when you come to the contact, it'll only show what information is applied to it. If you don't see it here, you essentially can open up the edit, and then you can apply the categories you wish, and then you can save it. Some people have been reporting issues with saving stuff. Then I do it, and I have no problems with saving stuff, and I do it in your guys' accounts. So I don't know if it is update on Google, because I've seen that with a couple of people live, where we do stuff, it's acting weird, we update Google, magically everything starts to work. So the update could be something if you find it working weird, but I've had people say they've added categories, they've added customers 3 times and it's not adding. And then I go add a customer and it adds without any hesitation. So I don't know how you're adding things, right? In general. So if you guys give me details of steps to how you're doing stuff, or if you guys have the means of recording your screen as you guys go through something, if you can reproduce it, then it's something that I can take to the developers and definitely fix. But so far, that's just something that I've heard amongst a couple of people, but yet have I have yet to hear it happen again. So just to let everybody else, if it happens, I would say check your updates, and if not, try to screen record it or take it slow. Maybe you're doing something fast or you're not clicking. I don't know, just happens to the best of us, where we're working a million miles a second and then things aren't working. It could be just the way that you're doing it. Another thing, does anybody know how to change a folder name or an action plan for your folders? Anybody have an idea how they would do that? So
Not me.
going to action plans and then going to your folders, right? So you have to find a folder that you've created, and you'll see that up here there is these dots up at this bar, and this gives you the chance to rename your folder, delete your folder. So if you're trying to reorganize things and do stuff like that, you don't have to delete the folder because you can't change it. So if anybody had walked into this, I just wanted to show you this. But yeah, so we're dumping the old UI this September 4th. We will basically have this. The good things that we can expect from that is the speed. So hopefully with just having one UI, things should be a lot faster, and would love to hear, your experiences on that. Has anybody been stuck with a challenge that they haven't been able to do due to the new UI or any other issue?
I have not. I can honestly say I've only used the new UI for the last month, I'd say.
Okay.
I did have some saving issues once in a while, but I've been using the new UI so much, I'd have to figure out how to use the old UI. So I haven't been able, everything I've wanted to do, I've been able to do on the new UI.
Has it been intuitive, or did it take you a bit to get to what you had to do, or is it?
No, it was pretty intuitive. I figured out, things are placed differently, but I was able to figure out right away. I never got stuck.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Well,
Let's
kudos developers.
Oh no, those guys are doing their best, and they're trying to do a lot with all of the fixes that have kind of came out. So yes, hats off to those guys. There's another thing that we're going to be playing around with that is going to come out this release, I think, and it is AI built responses. So a question, I guess we could just use this moment to discuss it. So there's going to be a field that we are going to create. We're thinking of putting it somewhere here that may open up another window to it, but it's a place where you're going to be able to put maybe like a bio of yourselves. The AI is going to look at this profile and the details that are in it, and we're going to have a place for products that you offer, so that depending on all of this data, plus any other data that is in the contact, such as location, right? It's going to take all of these two things into account and create a reply based off of any recent replies. So if you're, let's say you're in negotiations with somebody and they reply to you, you will be able to go to the email, create a reply for it, or create a reply for a text message. So if they reply to you, you'll be able to hit AI reply, and the AI will take all of that information, take his message, his information, and try to give you a reply to that. So when we tested it, it was pretty spot on, right? Like with the real estate agents, they were asking, you know, if you could utilize our services, and people were flat out saying, hey, thanks, we found a home, we don't need you anymore. And the AI was asking for referrals. It was letting people know that we're still here, even though that you purchased your home. We would still love to help you and your family. Congratulations on your purchase. You know what I mean? Just things that I was like, probably would have took me 15 minutes to kind of come around to that kind of answer. And it just, so that's something that I hope everybody can play around with, because I'm gonna need some feedback. How Because we got to give it some type of prompt. We got to feed it some information. So the place of the biography is going to be a place where you guys can write something about yourselves. I like to do this. These are things, likes, wants, achievements, anything like that. And the AI will utilize that if possible in a reply for you. So hopefully, if you guys ever find yourself stuck on a reply, you could get some assistance with AI and then send it out through the system. And so that's coming this next release, which hopefully you guys can.
So
Is going to be
Sparky's going to start responding to our emails for us. Awesome.
we we haven't called it Sparky yet. I mean, if you want to call it Sparky, but it's going to be an AI that is a little bit ChatGPT driven. Well, let's say foundation. However, with but we have a real estate chat, right? So in the real estate realm, what we're doing is we're having ChatGPT feed off of both AI. So chat, because it's really good with just kind of coming up with stuff in general, and then feeding it into our real estate and kind of having these two build each other stronger. On the real estate side, that's kind of how we're going to push that envelope forward. But with you guys, it's new territory, to tell you the truth. So I really don't know how this is going to come out when it comes to the responses. All I know is that in testing, is the responses were pretty spot on, but it's going to be something that we're going to have to play around with, and hopefully with everybody's insight kind of come up to the best use of it and how you guys can use it. But I don't know if you guys ever been stuck trying to answer an email. This would at least help you kind of answer it quickly.
Just don't call it Aaron.
Don't call him Aaron.
Don't call the
The new
AI
AI.
Aaron. Right.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think we're gonna call it anything. If we call it anything, we'll just keep calling them Sparky. But it is a step up when it comes to the AI. You know, Sparky helps you such as a virtual assistant, and this is just a level of something in which you might not have to think about replying to people. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to how AI is just so intuitive with that. Sometimes it just reads into what you want, but if you give it more prompts as to information about yourself, what services you offer, products, if it sees or hears something, it can definitely feed off of that. And I am hoping that it utilizes that information and just makes, I don't know, dealing with your guys' business a little bit different, right? So that's something that's new to come. Trying to think if I have any other little new small thing to show you guys, um but yeah, any questions so far with you guys? No challenges with adding categories, managing your items?
I would be curious if what most people have to trigger, or if they have triggers, or if they're just manually doing it for a new member report. What's the trigger that causes a new member campaign to go out?
And help me, so that's when a new member is entered into the system?
Right, when a new member goes into the system. And then the other thing that I was struggling a little bit with is on the birthday notifications. I think they're still coming through. So either I don't have something set right, or because I don't want to necessarily see all the happy birthday deals on the timeline. And I thought we had that figured out, but I'm not sure we do.
So in regards to the birthday stuff, so if you don't want action plans
I want
show up,
them to go out for active members, which I think we made that change because inactive members were getting annoyed that I was still wishing them a happy birthday, because like that's so annoying. Anyway, and then I didn't want it to show on the timeline, and I thought we had
check this box.
checked that. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look. So
That's what you want to check so that it doesn't obviously show up and bog up the timelines.
okay.
And then that is found on the action plan in these three little dots.
Yeah, okay, got it. And also, it seemed like I was able to move or copy action plans or copy templates by clicking on those dots and then saving it in another place without having to open it. Was I hallucinating, or
No,
how's it?
you can clone,
Okay, it was
and
cloning.
then if you clone, it pops up here, right, with a copy. And then if you open it and you edit the basics, this is where you can push it into a different folder.
Got
So
it.
I want to put it in
Okay, got it.
holidays, and then I can save it, and it's no longer here, and we have it in holidays.
Right. Okay, got it. Okay.
And then what was the other thing that you asked? It was to
What
oh,
was
the
what
action
are
plan.
people using for the triggers for new members, or are they just doing that when they load in a new member, just automatically, or just
I'm-
manually triggering that
Yeah.
as opposed to having it go out automatically?
So you could
I'm just manually doing it.
Yeah, you could manually. However, let me show you this one. So in the advanced, we
Mm-hmm.
get action plan is automatically triggered for contacts that are created today. So you could use
Okay.
this one right here. Anything that's created of that day, it starts off an action plan. And so it can be also days ago, so you can stagger it, so it's not immediate. You can also get created or updated. So if something was updated, you could fire off a communication. right?
Right. The thing I always worry about is by automating that and saying, if it's updated, because, I might update an email or tweak something and I don't want to restart the welcome campaign based on that. So I've hesitated to try to automate that. And I'm still just kind of, as I'm loading in new members after an open enrollment or when we've, updated an account, then for the new members, I want to send it out. So I've been doing it that way. I was just curious how other people maybe were managing that, welcome email campaign.
So
Yeah, Cassie, the reason I keep it manual is my concern was I meet somebody at a network meeting and load them into Fieldnotes, and that's a new entry and
Right.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yep.
but to touche what you said, this
Could
is
you
just one trigger.
could you add that like they have
Sales cycle status? You could do other categories in which that contact also has to, so created today, insert
how
sales cycle
about if
status
you say
servicing.
like they have a new because like one of the things I have in mine is the date of their membership number. So can you do something off of another data field in the database? So
So you can
add a
do,
next condition.
if you want to use it in conjunction, yes, definitely.
And
So
then
this
the
is
next condition would be active member. And then the next condition would be their production date is today or something like that.
exactly, you could use, not only was it created today or was it updated today, but it also has to have this, and this, and this. Meaning
Right.
it could be somebody from servicing, but you did an update to the email. And so, I mean, if you, let's say every time you update on something on somebody's, contact,
Choose
let's say
production date. I want to see if we said, okay, their production date
you can
is
get
today or
is on, is today
wait.
is on, let's see. So you can now set up a specific date so that it triggers, right?
Do the drop downs again. Okay, so they
Days
don't
ago
have an
is in the
after
past,
date. They just have an on.
is in, is empty or not empty. So you've got a couple of things in which you can use to,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the dates for triggering. But
Okay.
this is the all setting, or the advanced, right? So
Right.
with the advanced, it gives you all of the event dates, it gives you all of the calendars, plus reoccurring, and whether if it's a new lead or updated. And so definitely with the advanced options, you can do a little bit more, but I can see how the first option is scary, right? Because you just don't want any random Yahoo who gets updated all of a sudden get an email. However, if you build it out with other characteristics, such as the sales cycle status or the status alone, or like what you say, put in a production date, well, then they'll have to satisfy all those other categories as well in order for it to trigger. So it's not just
Right.
because you have that first one that says updated or created, that it's going to do that. And so,
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
but yeah, so triggering is definitely kind of like a puzzle. So if you struggle
That's
with it,
probably why I don't like it. I'm not a big puzzle person.
yeah, well, send it to me. I usually get hit with all the little puzzles. I usually have to like find solutions for everybody's different ways that they want to communicate to people. So for me, I don't have a problem kind of mashing my brain around it and kind of just thinking what's the best way, because there's so many ways that you can kind of approach things with this.
Right.
So it usually just depends on how the person is. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions that this might have possibly stirred up? And so nobody has any questions. Everybody's cool with the September release and dump of the old new UI, new tricks. There'll be a released email when that comes out. And then, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other. Do you guys play around with the reports, engagement reports? Is that something that you guys follow? Okay. Well, I know, I know Cassie does. I get those emails. But definitely, Cassie, what do you find the most out of these reports if since you've been somebody that has actually kind of gone through them?
Well, I'm looking at, just kind of is the communication. It helps me be comfortable that yes, the messages are going out, the communications are happening. And then it also helps me, I'm really looking at how many people are opening it. Are we actually, yes, we're sending the message out, but I sort of feel like, sometimes it feels like smoke signals, right? Now, you folks in the Northwest can't rely on smoke signals right now, but yeah, and you just don't know if anybody's seeing them or reading them or whatever. So it does give you some sense of, okay, it's going out, one, and two, yes, at least half the people are looking at it, which,
And
you always want to have more, but I don't know on an open rate what's good, what's not. So I'm just looking to improve. So
okay, well that's fair enough. And you do it through the reports, or do you do it through the dashboard? What is your method of choice?
I've been looking on the dashboard to see how many emails were sent, how many were opened. And I've also been trying, one of the things that, I can tell you what I do. I don't know that it's the right thing or the best way to handle it, but how are other people handling when, or how do you recommend as a best practice when we have an email that's not working for an individual? It's bouncing back as undeliverable.
Mhm.
And it's just not a valid email. What should we do with that? Because what I've been going in and doing is removing that email from the system, so we're not continuing to send out emails to a dead link or a dead
Right.
address. But I don't know if that's really what I should be doing. And obviously, if it's a key contact, like one of my HR people or somebody that, if it's a member and we just have a bad address, if I can, give them a quick call or shoot them a text message and say, hey, I'm trying to send you some emails about your benefits. What's your best email address? I could maybe do that, but like, what's everybody else doing there and how's the best way to handle that from a system standpoint?
I'll let everybody else give a chance to answer. Anybody have any insight into that? What they would do? I'm gonna say a contact with a bad email, and you find out that that email is, so you're gonna get the bounce back in your email, and it'll tell you
Right.
it's full, like I've seen memories full, I've seen bad email, we'll try again in 48 hours, right? I've seen a handful of things. um I wouldn't I wouldn't continue to send to it. If it's not deliverable in any way, shape, or form, I would remove the email, not necessarily the contact. And then so
Right.
my history in the casino realm, we used to build profiles on people. And so I would take any information that they have. And the good thing is that you have actually like real people in a casino realm. A lot is fake, a lot is made up. We don't know who's real until we really know people, when they send their IDs and that kind of stuff. So what we would do is we would just Google the details that we have in the internet. And through that, there's a lot of information out there. Sometimes by Googling an old email, it takes you to the new one. or it'll take you to their company profile. I've seen so many company directories where you can kind of go through the website and have access to people's emails and phone numbers, and sometimes you'll see the updated information there, and then you can update your own files. And so I'm pretty good with, if I have minimal details of somebody, I can most likely find you kind of. So that's what I would do. But having bad emails and sending consistently to the wrong email is not going to help you. Yeah, it's not good that you send an email to somebody that doesn't not one open it, or doesn't even look at it, or it is a bad email. It kind of gives the perception of spammy. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you want to
So,
not have that in there.
what's a good open rate
For
for emails?
emails in general,
Yeah, like what is everybody else seeing on opens and
I'm pretty sure that some of that data can be extracted, but it hasn't been, in any of our technical meetings or company internal meetings, that hasn't. And now that you asked that question, I'm kind of curious to see what our overall open rate is. That would be a good, but then again, everybody is different, right? And so, and it would be good for you to look at your own open rate, but I don't think this in these reports. It's added engaged communication. It represents the number of times you've engaged. Transaction report. Let's see. Okay, so this gives you a breakdown, but it doesn't give you that kind of information. Something I will request with the developers to see if they can, because I think that might
I just
be
didn't know if there
helpful.
was sort of like best practices or, because I just think about from an advertising standpoint and direct mail, snail mail, I'm thinking of, you have really low open rates on most of that stuff. And so I'm sitting here thinking, well, 50% isn't where I want to be. It doesn't seem horrible, but I just have no point of reference.
Understood. I would say the most information you'll get, like analytics wise, is putting your communications into an action plan and then viewing the statistics on the action plan, because it breaks it down a little bit better with what's been sent and what's been opened and that kind of thing. And then you would have to like just track your emails that go out, and kind of just do an independent like do your own independent kind of math on that one, track it a couple of months. But who knows? I would like to see the patterns, right, that the whole year has. Maybe some years, I don't know what December is. I know come towards the end of the year with the holidays, the activity kind of tends to die down. But that, I don't know if that's just company wide or everybody kind of experience that, or if that's just us real estate wise. But
So what's recency index and the completeness index?
so connecting with contacts, what is the recency index? The index shows your engagement with your contacts. Connecting with them regularly involves the index. The recency index. 60 is considered a good, 80 is considered excellent. A higher recency index indicates better contact.
So it's just how often are you engaging with people?
I would have to say yes, but then again, I would like to know what are the markers that really kind of make this thing trigger, just to understand it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Looks like this completeness index Quality index shows you how good is the information you have regarding your customers. Updating the fields with details improves the index and quality of index. Oh, now
Okay.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see what yours looks like, Cassie.
Yeah, look at it. I don't know. Because and here's the thing, like by removing a bad email address, does that help improve my completeness score, or actually
Right? I think it
does
might.
it
I think you
downgrade
may.
it? I would think that would improve it because I'm not sending stuff out to a bad email. But if they're just looking for how many fields are filled out, not how accurate the fields are, maybe.
Don't feel like I'm throwing you under the bus, but
No, that's okay.
this is yours. So you are at 30% with the
Okay.
completeness and the index, and then you are at a 5%
Yep.
recency index. Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. 50 is
Okay.
good. So you're halfway there. You're above average.
Hardly.
Then 70
All
is
right.
good.
Well,
Measuring
all
by the
right. We
completeness.
can work on those things. We're getting there.
Indeed. Let me get out before I cause any more problems and show all your information. All right. Well, is there anything else that you guys might want to review or have me prepare for Monday or these Thursday? Is there anything that you would like to see outlined, or anything in particular? Any challenges you guys are working with? I see we've got.
I have a question.
Tell me, Alice.
So is it possible to take the templates that we have and say we want to take out an old flyer or an old link and put a new one in? Can we just plug and play? Or do we have to create a whole new one? Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Let's let me entertain this real quick. Okay, so is it from the library or is it from your own folders?
Well, I was just thinking, we keep getting new flyers. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it's time to go through and just look and pull some of the older ones out and put the new ones in. There's either, I'm excited because they seem to have changed the font size and the color print on some of the new stuff they sent out for the will month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
But
I was thinking about the will, the estate planning guide, that might be a really good one to add to the
welcome.
like the welcome campaign. And I think it's like the third or fourth email that getting your will done. I was thinking that link to the other, estate planning document would be a really good add to that.
If I'm not correct, that PDF lives in one of these. It lives within one of these, if I'm not correct, right? Or no?
If you go to the will month email, I think maybe the top one.
The August.
Yeah. And I think
This is the video.
That's a video, but there was one that had.
Let's see.
Yeah, maybe it was
I think
the
it's
HR.
the one that came from corporate. Yeah.
Yeah, that guide right there, that Legal Shield Complete Estate Planning Guide.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those resources that are there would be, I think, good adds to the member will prep communication.
So this guide.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
How do you? This is 18 pages. Is this something in which you want it as? Just
well,
like
this I would want it to be a hyperlink to this document. I wouldn't want it to be an attachment or anything else, but
I mean, it'd be something that we would use even because all of this is kind of centered around it's August National Make a Will Month. And so
What are we
it
just
would
talking
take
about?
This,
some of the,
the framework of this communication is that, but we could still take this guide and the 5 reasons to make a will and put it in the, you know, the new member campaign that we have.
And
I
are
agree,
we
that's a
talking,
good idea.
are we talking about an action and the action
Yeah.
plan?
Yeah. It's the
Member retention one, is that what it is?
member retention one that has like the 13 steps.
Okay. So my,
Can we also put the will questionnaire in there, the new?
The law firms and the corporate has asked us not to do that. And that's because I think they're phasing out the will questionnaire.
Well, they just put a new one in the resources.
Oh,
Brand
okay.
new.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
they
they
just
showed
want us
it.
to use the new one then.
Right, they showed it in the will thing
workshop.
that Melissa did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ron,
So-
And that would
Jones.
be very helpful.
what I can say to that is I have no problem. It's just since I don't know what's best, right? I'm really kind of putting it on you guys to say, hey, Jeremy, do this. And obviously because it comes from, you know, people that are many years in the game, the trust is like, I don't even have to trust. I just do what you say. I can clean these up, but from our internal end, right? Because this is all, and
If you
some of
click
these
like,
ones,
if you click open that retention, member retention one that's kind of in the middle of the screen there, just below the middle of the screen.
this one,
Yep.
this one I don't think is but okay.
Yeah, no, this is the one we were talking about. And then complete your will, number 4 there. That would be the one that we might want to look at and do an edit on to say, okay, do we want to see, we do have a will questionnaire there. Maybe we need the new one.
Yeah, we do need to update it.
And do we want to keep the, you know, using your will mobile app one in there? Maybe we do. But I think adding the estate planning guide would, yeah, see, this one isn't working
Mhm.
for,
So this one looks like it needs information in order for it to run. I don't know if this is kind of, if they're logged in to whatever system, does it pull it through their browser? But yes, it does look like it.
how about using the will questionnaire, the link below it?
Same user ID, contact, something weird. This is most likely not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah, so I mean, I will edit and clean up what
All
needs
we
to be
have to
cleaned up.
do is give Jeremy the resources that are the corporate approved resources and tell him where it goes.
If you can
And
baby
we
it for me, unfortunately, it helps me just slap it together and get it in there. The more I have to think about it and ask questions is when obviously it takes me that much more time to facilitate it. But Cassie does a really good job. Jeremy, I need this. And then she basically just gives me instructions on what I need to do. And I just follow
we
them.
create the content and you know, provide the graphics and the links and all that sort of stuff, and then he can format it and put it in the library for everybody.
If you can go as far as telling me where in the library you feel that it fits. I mean, sometimes it's oblivious to me where should I put it? Sometimes it's clear as night or clear as day. And so sometimes I don't have the problem with that, but any information that I don't have to think about and all I have to do is just put it in an email or do this or do that, it helps me update that stuff. And so if you guys see things with the action plans, that's a different place as well, but I can touch and edit those. And so would love to really, if anybody has the time and want, right? I have, not that I have all the time in the world, but I would definitely give hours to this because I know that this is a like a backbone to kind of, what you guys do and
Well,
working
and I think
faster,
for when we're seeing new tools come out from Legal Shield,
Mhm.
then that's kind of the trigger for me that makes me go, oh, okay, this is an update for either an action plan or a template that we already have, or wow, this like on the national will stuff, as soon as that came out, I kind of did my draft of like, here's what I'm going to do. And then I sent it to Jeremy and said, hey, can you put this in the library so everybody can use it if they want it? And then that way we had sort of the communication for HR, the communication for members. It was there. It was all based on corporate materials, links, and information. So no sense in reinventing the wheel and having to have everybody do that. But, if I look at it and just say, I'm going to take the time to do it for myself. I may as well share it. No extra work for me to share it. It's a little extra work for Jeremy, but if he can help us, it's a win-win. So why not?
Yes, totally win-win. Something I'm up for, polishing
Yep.
the libraries, because if they go stale, then it's going to cause more work for you guys. And I would like them to be plug and play
Mhm.
for the most part, right? And what it requires is somebody with the knowledge to kind of really voice and say, yes, this is needed, this is changed, and I am not part of the circle yet. So yeah, I don't have that information. So whatever you guys
Okay.
can give me, definitely, I do not take it as a pain in the butt. I definitely feel that it's needed. And so yeah, send that stuff over to me and I'll definitely help you. But now, what was Stella's question, or what was it in regards to the action plan or moving something? What was it? Editing folders, or I forget. It kind of left my mind.
I didn't say anything about editing folders because I don't know how to do that yet. But all I was saying was the will questionnaire. If we can get that in there, the new one.
Okay.
If you'll send Jeremy the link, he can put it in.
Now, what I was referring, so what I was saying about that's where my question was coming. Do you want this just as a simple introduction to this document, meaning, hey, just a real quick little email. This is the complete guide to estate planning. Just a real quick email with a link that it would take you to this, because that's
That would
something
be
I can.
that would be a great
Introduction.
template and
Mhm.
resource. But I was actually thinking about taking this link and putting it in that email that's already going out on estate planning.
Can we have it in both ways?
In the
Yep.
action plan? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
So you want
So
a
Yeah,
so
'cause some
Stella,
might
yeah.
not want to send it.
Go ahead.
The
Apologize.
answer is we can do it both ways, because when you develop it as a template and then you put the template in the action plan,
Right.
it would, or if we're going to change one of the steps that's already in the action plan, which is what I want to do. So if I change that step in the action plan and I add that now, and I'm on step number 3 with somebody, are they going to get the old one or the new one? How does that work again?
With the new release, they are releasing some new logic with the action plans. I think I've alluded to this
Right.
before, right? So the logic is changing. I am waiting to get the complete instructions from the developers as to how the logic is to play. And then
Okay.
I'm going to put it in English for everybody to understand it. And then I can play around with it. But to give you some insight on the logic, you should now be able to, so that the system is going to change where it no longer sends the full action plan to the contact of the individual. It's
Okay.
essentially, it's going to schedule the first one. If that's sent out immediately, it's sent, and then it schedules the next one. However, when that next one comes up, it still refers to the action plan for the information. So if that information is different because you updated it and you changed it, it will then refer to what's new.
Right, okay, got
And
it.
then if
So
you
it's
add it,
not the whole
Yeah.
train is not leaving the station.
Nope.
It's just that car left the station and the next car, if we put in new upholstery in the next car before that car leaves the station, then when it leaves the station, if the new upholstery was in, then that's what they're gonna get.
right,
Okay,
let's say the conductor checks with the train before shipping out the train. And so if there's anything new, it'll ship it out. If you continuously add at the tail end of the action plan, it will just continue the action plan, never ending. And so
okay.
no longer of the
Well, I was just thinking
Sure.
like in the case of what we were just talking about on the member retention, step number 4, you know, if I gotta go check my action plan to see if my links are good or not. But if the links are bad in step number 4, anybody that's not to step number 4 yet, when I fix step number 4, assuming it's a problem in my situation, if I fix that in step number 4, when they get it, it should be fine as long as they're still on car number 1, 2, or 3 when I fix it.
correct.
Okay,
Correct.
gotcha.
So hopefully I'll get more information and kind of spell it out so that everybody's clear on how it's going to work, so nobody gets confused with it. But yeah, so they're changing quite a bit when it comes to the logic of the action plans, which should be, I think it's a step forward in regards to the
Yep.
action plan. So
So
And
Jeremy,
and
when
Jeremy,
you-
I just wanted to confirm that you're gonna put the will questionnaire in there as well.
now, just to
So
understand,
do I
If
need to
if
send
we
that to
can
you?
give it to him, he
this
will,
email-
but if he doesn't have it, he can't put it in.
Okay, I can give that to him. I can send that to him.
if you want to throw something together with maybe just a little description of how you want it, yes, no problem. If we're talking about this one, it's just
Yeah, this
intro.
is the guide, but then there's the actual form for the people to fill out, you know,
I see
which, you know, the guide is wonderful, but then, okay, so the next step,
is the
which
form.
would be to fill out the form.
Okay, yeah, if you can send that to me, then definitely I can reproduce it.
Okay,
And
and how are we gonna track these when changes have been made?
so I
Isn't there a date on the file?
do
And
put
not-
dates.
yes,
I do put dates on the file.
Okay,
I'm trying to, as much as possible, put the month and then the year that it was entered. These, even
And
though
this
they're
is
still
like you can
old,
see that make a will month, that was version 2.
mm-hmm,
this, right, because I think later on you gave me, you wanted to switch out this icon because this one
Right.
was more, it had more information to offer the customer. So
Right.
we leapt with this one, but there's the V2. So I just called it V2. I don't know if everybody knew, what is it? I think we have one that's I think I have to zoom out, but I don't know if anybody knew what these like the T170, if they understand what that is, that's the trigger 170 days. So if you were
Mhm.
looking to from this recreate your own, these are the triggers that was set within the action plan. So this is an actual action plan, and these are the numbers in which the activities go off on. So it has the date and then it has the suggested trigger time, but suggested. So those are the only things that I'm kind of putting in the
Other than
description.
the date and the revision.
Right. So
Yeah.
if there's any other way that you guys feel that we can manage this, even if it's like on a development side, I'm comfortable with how do you say, maybe kind of coming up with something so that we have a system in which can let us know what's old, what's not. But please just take a short little read, and if it doesn't look good, I would love to know, just so that little by little, as a community, we clean, right?
Right. The other thing is when you change it here, that doesn't change it over in the template. So we need to make sure
This
is
is
there
the
an easier
templates.
way that we can do that?
This is the templates. So if it's changed here,
Oh, okay.
it changes it when you go to send out emails or anything like that. But what it doesn't is if you use this template in an action plan, well, the action plan just has this information. I don't know if the developers would be even keen to, if you change this one, change if it was used in an action plan. I don't know if they think that that could cause a lot of problems. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
So if I develop my action plan today based on what's in the
Library.
templates in the library today, then that action plan isn't going to update when I
Any of the-
update one of the templates.
That is 100% correct. You can update the template and then
Or
move
vice
your
versa.
action plan. True, you could update the action plan and then take that communication out, save it as a template,
Mhm.
and then kind of
Okay.
redo
Well,
what you want.
we need to understand if there's, what's the easiest way to do that if you do or you don't want to, you know, change it. So maybe that's something we can talk about next week.
Sounds good. I'm up for that. And then yeah,
Okay.
so send me any new emails or templated things that you want in the system. I'll definitely you know, get those in there so you guys can use them. And I think we are to our next episode. Anybody have any
Sounds
questions?
good.
No?
Thank you.
Gotta run.
right.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Ciao, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy. Bye-bye now.
Good stuff. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.